On September 7, 2011, Alec Baldwin tweeted, "Starbucks on 93 and Broadway. Uptight Queen barista named Jay has an attitude problem." This is the Museum of Twitter, the show we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. I decided to do this tweet because I think it's important to periodically remind my audience that celebrities used to tweet insane things back in the day. Before PR accounts started caring about celebrity social media, the celebrities that used social media really didn't care what they were saying. And Alec Baldwin was no exception. Now, the irony of this post, obviously, is that Alec Baldwin himself is known for having an attitude problem like all the time. He left his teen daughter a voicemail where he called her a thoughtless pig. He once got kicked off a plane because he wouldn't stop playing Words with Friends on his phone. And he's assaulted more than one paparazzi. And so it's no surprise that he goes into a Starbucks on 93rd and Broadway in Manhattan and thinks that Jay, the barista, has an attitude problem. But he doesn't just say that Jay has an attitude problem, he says the Queen Jay has an attitude problem. Once again, celebrities were just saying whatever. Now, never in a million years, even if a celebrity did want to complain about customer service, they would never say something so blatantly homophobic. But the unfortunate thing is that obviously looking back 13 and a half years later, it is objectively funny that he tweeted this. A big problem that Nam Dakum pointed out on a Threads post that referenced this is that the problem with Alec Baldwin is any thing he says, I hear it as his character from 30 Rock saying it makes me laugh. And this is absolutely true. Throw a lemon into this tweet, and it sounds like Jack Donaghy said it. Like Liz says to him, "Jack, why are you late?" And he says, "Starbucks on 93rd and Broadway, lemon. Uptight Queen barista named Jay has an attitude problem." Of course, the fact that mean things that Alec Baldwin says can be heard in the voice of Jack Donaghy is why he's perfect casting for the character. Now, at the time, multiple news outlets actually reported on this, including the New York Post, and they actually got a first-hand account of what happened. While Jay himself didn't go on the record, and for the record, apparently his name is Giovan, one of his co-workers said that it was actually Alec Baldwin who had the attitude problem. Which, of course. The unnamed other barista said that he was probably the rudest guy they've ever met. Now, when Alec Baldwin was asked for comment, he said, "Starbucks is a great company. Unfortunately, not all of their employees can live up to their high standards." And a few days later, Sam Valley tweeted, "Only Alec Baldwin can make people feel sympathy for a Starbucks barista." And Alec said, "Ha, maybe true." And that really is one of the paradoxes of Alec Baldwin, and this obviously applies before the whole Russ incident with him shooting someone. That he clearly has the capacity to be a massive jerk, but he also clearly has the capacity to laugh at himself in a way that almost no other massive jerk is able to. That does not obviously forgive him of all of the jerkish things he's done, but I think it's why he's sort of a guilty pleasure for a lot of people who consider themselves moral. Like Jack Donaghy is simply one of the greatest comedic performances ever put on television, and so much of that is because of Alec Baldwin. And unfortunately, I think part of the thing that makes Jack Donaghy so funny is the same thing that makes Alec Baldwin a jerk to everyone in real life. But anyway, this post has resurfaced several times over the years, and a lot of times it engenders people responding with things that are related. Like Nate responded with this Yelp review that says, "Guy man in the cash register was having a bad day, taking it out on customers." To which the owner jokingly responded, "Sorry, we took him out back and shot him." And when it resurfaced in 2020, Matthew posted a screenshot of a Tumblr post from Lambily saying, "I think it's funny when it's busy at Starbucks and the gay baristas get mean." And as the show The Baldwins has come out, it actually went viral again. The Baldwins, of course, is the reality show starring Alec and his wife Hilaria, who is not from Spain. And it's caused people to reference it again, like Tom Smith, who said, "If I were producing The Baldwins, Jay would be a recurring cast." And Greta Dean Girl asks, "What if we kiss at the Starbucks on 93rd and Broadway, where Alec Baldwin was served by an uptight queen barista named Jay with an attitude problem?" Now, unfortunately for Greta Dean Girl, this is not actually possible. I looked up that location on Google Maps, and unfortunately, that Starbucks is no longer there. You can tell it used to be a Starbucks because of the green awning, but it's now an empty building, at least of August 2024. I consider traveling up there to see what it is now, but I live in Astoria, Queens, and if you know anything about New York, that's just an unreasonable trip to take on the subway just for a bit. Especially if the end of the bit is, "Oh, this building's still empty." But to reiterate my point, TZ says it best, this place used to be insane. Twitter has gone through a lot of eras, but I really think that an under-talked about era is the pre-2012 era, I would say, where people were just saying anything. And people include celebrities. Because today, people will still say basically anything on Twitter, but celebrities are really, really guarded. And if they say anything even mildly controversial, it becomes a big thing. But Alec Baldwin didn't even delete this tweet. This was a thing that he felt comfortable posting. And I don't know if I want to go back to that era, because celebrities were posting things more abusive like this, but I definitely would prefer if celebrities loosen their grip a little bit on social media. Yes, that will cause backlash, because Zoomers have been raised thinking that celebrities need to have a squeaky clean image on everything they put on social media, but I think it'll be worth it. At least for my entertainment. And that's why celebrities do anything, right? Follow me for a new tweet every day, and consider subscribing at patreon.com/Museum of Twitter, where you can vote where I cover on Subscriber Sundays, and you get the weekly Museum of Not Twitter.